I think courage for me means showing up and doing something, even if it seems challenging or I might have some resistance to doing it. For me, it takes courage to really show up and do something that may not naturally feel like something I want to do or is necessarily easy to do. The most courageous thing that I've ever done is give birth to my daughter Madeline. That was a constant practice of reaching for courage and a courageous act to go through the birthing process and birth her and receive her in my life as my daughter is definitely the most courageous thing that I've done. Well, the transition between maiden to mother is so huge for every woman, whether she is really conscious of it or not. Getting pregnant can be for so many women this like moment of, oh my gosh, yay, or oh my God, what? Or even possibly a moment of fear might come forward for her when she finds out she's pregnant. And I, of course, had my own journey being pregnant and giving birth to Madeline, and I had the luxury of having 3 other pregnant women. We were all due around the same time, and we did everything together. We worked out together, we went to the grocery store together, and we fully supported each other through our pregnancies, and our children were either days or even hours apart when we all gave birth. And it was just such a transformational time, and I didn't have to go through it alone. And after we all gave birth, we got together at my house and I made tea and we had snacks and hung out and shared birth stories. And it was so powerful to go through the journey together as pregnant women, and then to honor our transition by coming back together, sharing birth stories, and then now really connecting on what it's like to be a mother. And that really inspired me to start holding space and holding circles for women who are pregnant. And really this passion that I have, that really no woman has to do this alone when they're pregnant, and to have that support and to have the community and to really honor that transition, because you're pregnant for 9+ months and then all of a sudden you give birth, and like within a moment you become a mother. And so to be able to go back and honor that story, that birth story, that moment of transition is just so powerful. And it's really, it just, for me, it never gets old. I love a good birth story, and I love being a part of women's journeys through pregnancy into motherhood. For the woman who's experiencing fear around whether she's just found out she's pregnant, or maybe that's been her experience through pregnancy, what I have bared witness to is, talk about courageous, watching the woman walk through the door, which takes so much courage to walk through the door into a new class or a circle, or especially because I'm holding, as of now, circles and classes at my home. And so to really show up in a place that you've never been to before, it takes a lot of courage. And when I experience someone just walking through the door, and then to be willing and open to share her fear, takes a lot of courage, and that's huge. And I think that's really the first step to allowing the fear to fully, diminish, is to admit it, that there is fear. And I love when a woman can feel safe enough within the circle, or even if it's just a client that I'm working on one-on-one, that can say, look, I'm scared, I'm excited about this, and there's like this expectation that I should be so excited because I'm pregnant. And for some women, maybe it's taken longer for them to get pregnant, and it's been a journey, and there's all these expectations. And so I just really honor the woman who can feel safe enough to just come in here and say, I'm scared, I'm in fear about this, and I'm excited. And yeah, just by really admitting it is really the first step to just allowing it to just be and own it and let it go. And then it allows for space for the excitement to come in. My intention for every woman that I work with, regardless of what might be coming up for her, would be really just to hold a loving space and a non-judgmental space. I feel like as a pregnant mom and mother, so many people want to project their opinions and ideas of how you could or would or should be in the process of being pregnant. And I just feel that really holding that space of love and non-judgment is so huge. Because I think that as humans in general, but even more so when you're pregnant and motherhood and all these expectations that either people are projecting outwardly onto us or that we might just be innately feeling within ourselves. My intention is to really hold a loving, non-judgmental space to allow the woman's process to flow in and out. So if there is fear that comes forward, which there is, I mean, I've yet to see, and even in my own experience, have a woman who fear didn't creep in at some point, whether it was during the pregnancy or during the birth. I mean, it's a part of the process. And so to acknowledge it, to befriend it, is a really courageous act versus not saying anything or maybe having shame around it because there's this expectation of it should look a certain way or I should feel a certain way or be a certain way through this process and journey. So my intention really is to hold a loving space.